Hey guys, so I've got a new deck profile for you. I'm going to show you guys my Megalith deck. I built this deck pretty soon after the cards were first revealed, and this is my attempt at building one that leans into the rockness of it. So, here's Megalith Megalith Haggith. Haggith is probably your most important Megalith because it can search out the Megalith spells and traps, which you really need for your plays to keep going and actually seem like the deck can actually have a turn 2 and 3 and 4. So you want to see Haggith on your earliest turns. Another one you want to see early is Megalith Ophiel. Why did you say Ock? Megalith Ophiel is your Megalith searcher. It'll search Megalith monsters. And you will, of course, want to also see this one early, but not quite as important as Haggith. You'll want to search either Haggith or other Megalith monsters like Megalith Ock, the one I've been trying to say this whole time. And Ock is the not so greatest Megalith with its on-summon effect. It will draw a card and discard a card. That could be anything. But the good thing about Ock is that it can quick ritual summon during your opponent's turn, so you can do some disruptive plays and dodge effects with it. Oops, I had a third of that. Here's Megalith Bethor. The one that you typically will want to be summoning with Akka during your opponent's turn is Bethor, because its on-summon effect will pop your opponent's cards for the number of Megalith monsters in your graveyard. So it can do a lot of damage all at once, especially if your opponent doesn't understand it's about to happen. A big difference between the Megalith level 8s and level 4s is that these guys act as ritual spells in the hand. You gotta discard them as their cost. But these guys only ritual summon on the other guys ritual summon only on the field. I play one of each of Megalith Aratron and Megalith Phaleg. I don't find too much use of these two because Aratron's has a negation effect against spells and traps, but your opponent can pretty easily see that coming, so they simply won't run into it. So typically, I just kind of leave it in hand for various costs. It's actually a quick ritual during your opponent's turn as well. You can use it as that as well. Megalith Phaleg is a beat stick. It makes all of your ritual monsters gain attack for every Megalith in your graveyard. That can be pretty potent for a push or finishing your opponent off. I don't play it too much, but when you need to really put some hurt in your opponent because these guys don't have high attack, Phaleg is really good for that. So that's all the Megalith monsters I run. They're pretty good, but they need help to do anything. And the most important monster for that is Chalice Slime. Because Chalice Slime acts as a playmaker monster. It's a ritual monster, but it also has a discard effect that you can use to search out other incantation monsters. But the fact that you only get to get one, it means you can do more incantation plays throughout the duel because you're only getting one on the field each turn. So if you were discarding this to special summon revealing it to special summon a incantation monster, you would special summon monsters like, most importantly, incantation Candle. Candle, I only have him at 1 because I don't want to draw it. It's very important I get that search effect off to add ritual spells to hand. And the ritual spell in question will be Incantation Inception. You want to play Incantation play so that you don't end up negging too much with your Megalith monsters. You could also get off of Chalice Slime your Talismandra for a ritual monster search. There are valid targets in this deck. Besides just Megalith monsters and Chalice Slime, I do run one copy of Necroz of Unicorn, very powerful ritual monster that can basically block out your opponent's extract monsters. Its attack isn't the highest though, so you want to put other things on the board around it as well. If it and Phaleg are on the field at the same time, you're in pretty good shape actually. Now, to make sure my plays get off the ground, I do want to play Maju of 10,000 Hands. I don't really use up my normal summons at all with this deck, so this is a great monster to use for it. Since it can search either ritual spells or ritual monsters, it can help make your hand the best hand it can be. So it's really great to have it in here, because it can be whatever you want it to be, since the rest of my deck is basically all ritual monsters. The last incantation monster I play is Pencil Plume. I saved it for last, and I'm having it too because I actually do kind of want to see this in my early hands to act as the special summon monster to get the other ones out of my deck. because I'm not really going to be trying to get ritual monsters out the grave. I can, but it's more important that I'm able to get the ritual monsters and spells out the deck. Now, interesting tech in this deck is Block Dragon. You go through a lot of rock monsters with this strategy, and you wound up having a good mixture of them in your hand and graveyard, which is perfect for Block Dragon's special summon effect. And once you've got it on the field, the moment it leaves the field, you can replace it with either a couple copies of the small Megalith monsters or just one big Megalith monster. It's pretty great for that. And on top of that, once on the field, it actually gives your rock monster some protection while it's on the field. So it's pretty great. Alright, that was it for my monsters. Now, warning. You're probably not going to like this one. Pot of Extravagance. I run it at 3. Because honestly, I don't really see this deck being able to run as it is without that extra draw support. It doesn't really need an extra deck, so you can use this pretty freely. And just 2 cards makes a huge difference for a ritual deck that's all about the resources. And yeah, I know it's an expensive card, but you have to make choices here. Now, most important spell in the archetype for Megalith is Megalith Portal. It's a very good recycler. Basically, every time you special summon a Megalith monster, you get to add a ritual monster from your grave to your hand. You can recycle things like Chalice Slime, your Ox, your Haggiths, whatever you might need for next turn, so that you have a next turn. You really want to make sure you end your turn with your portal out. On that note, I also run a single terraforming just to make sure I see it. Preparation of Rites. Oddly enough, this is the one ritual deck where I am actually not trying to get off the whole effect of it. Sometimes I'm simply not going to have a ritual spell in the graveyard, and that is just fine. I need to get ritual monsters to hand for all of these discard of costs and effects, so I need to be playing prep. I wish I could be playing pre-prep, but this deck does not play well with pre-prep. Here's the actual one ritual spell I run in this deck, Inception. And you've heard it from me already. I can search it pretty easily with the incantation monsters, and by running Chalice Slime at 3, I can make sure I'm searching this out and don't have to worry about drawing it. And if I do happen to have it in the graveyard, my Preparation of Rites can get it right back out for me if I haven't already recycled it out the grave with its own effect. So this is a very powerful ritual spell, and you should be playing it if you're going to be playing this deck. Now I've got some Cosmic Cyclones. As just support, the deck doesn't really do a good job at popping back row, so it might be good to have that in your main deck already. Maybe not at 3, but at 2 should be good. Now I'm into my trap cards. So the most important trap card in this deck is Megalith Emergence. This is just everything. You want to use your Haggith to search either this or your portal. Because when you have both out, your deck can really shine during your opponent's turn, and you'll have a next turn. This card is really great because once per turn, it will grab a Megalith monster out your grave and put it on the field for you. You can use that for its ritual summons. You can use it for someone else's ritual summon. They're pretty great. And Emergence actually fuels your portal because it special summons the monster, which means when you activate your Emergence, it will then trigger portal. So you can combo during your opponent's turn that way. And the last of my trap cards are just things I thought were useful. Lost Winds for monster negates that can come back out the graveyard, and then for a single Solemn just to end a chain right there. And that's my main deck. Now, the extra deck doesn't matter as much, but there are a lot of key players in here, well, a couple key players in here I think you guys want to know about. Gallant Granite. Very good rank 4 that you don't have to worry about using rock monsters for. You can use any level 4 monsters for it. That's why I have Manju in here. Typically, if I'm going to summon Manju and get that search, I'm going to then use my Manju to get into Gallant Granite. And then Gallant Granite can then search out any rock monster for me on this turn. And I typically don't leave it on the field after that, even though you could, because I have another use for it, which is as link material. And the monster I'm bringing out with it, once I've used the search, is Gravity Controller. I'm running these guys at 2 because you know I play Extravagance. I'm hoping that I only lose one of these guys and not both. So Gravity Controller is pretty great for sending that Gallant Granite to the graveyard. Like I said before, with Block Dragon, this deck is pretty good with getting your rocks to hand or grave. But just in case you just need to get that one more rock monster to grave, since you searched your Block Dragon with Gallant Granite, you can just simply link summon Gravity Controller with your Gallant Granite, and now you might have the 3 rocks you need to summon Block Dragon with. Other than that, this monster doesn't go anywhere too easily. It can serve as a bit of an out for an opponent or your opponent's monsters, and your opponent might not just have an out for it. So Gravity Control is pretty decent. Now, the rest of my extra deck does not matter nearly as much, but I've made some choices I thought would be interesting in here. Cross Sheep. You can get off its Xyz and Ritual plays, so have at you. Tail Dragon, popping back row. Abyss Dweller, see a threat coming early and just stop their whole graveyard effects from going off. It seems going to be more useful in the future, so you might want to get your own copies of Abyss Dweller if you don't have them already. Cerberus and Phoenix, some easy link to removal cards. Same with Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn, not Unicorn. And the rest were interesting choices. So I put in Nephthys Sacred Flame. I have not summoned it, but best believe if I do, if I do, and some rank 8s, that should all be rather useful since I do play a lot of level 8 monsters in here. And they should be pretty useful, but otherwise I just want to see them get banished and not the important cards. And that's my Megalith deck. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and also let me know if you guys have your own ways of running this deck. And that's about all I've got for you. Pass turn.